hasn't been on the bench for 14 years.
Oh, yeah.
It reminded me.
Oh, yes.
14 years.
14 good years.
Look at that. Florence, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Look, it's a... let's iron out all these issues that we've been hearing lately. First of all, Sunday night, it poured in the city. It came down in buckets. In one night, the city was literally flooded. 7 people are reported to have died, and then it was havoc. The question is, what is wrong with this city every time it rains? Is it just bad planning?
It's a myriad of many things, Jeff. Thank you for having us here. I think we want to talk about planning in the sense that there should be ways, for instance, for flood zone areas. There should be ways besides our roads. But all these places have been encroached, by unplanned development. And therefore, even when engineers build the roads, they do not necessarily have ways to be able to create sewer lines and stormwater drainage for the city. But I think more importantly is that we actually do not have what you call a master plan, an infrastructure master plan for the city of Nairobi. That water comes from the high areas going towards the rivers, and Nairobi is blessed with rivers. That is able to take the water all the way to the rivers. And so there's need for planning, but at the same time also to protect ways and areas where we can allow for drainage. Also at the same time, the implementation of the things that have been planned has also not been done.
Imagine an 80 billion shilling expressway with no drainage. Philip, do you agree that Nairobi has no master plan, no blueprint?
Well, Jeff, thank you for having me after about 14 years. The last time we had such a conversation was about 14 years ago at Mayfair.
Yes.
But I'm happy to be here today.
Now,
Nairobi has a master plan. And Madam President will tell you that the first master plan we had for Nairobi was in 1948. That was basically a confinement strategy to segregate Africans from the Europeans. Yeah? So Africans were confined in Eastlands, and that's where they belonged. So they would move from Eastlands to come and work for the white settlers. And then after independence, World Bank and other development partners saw the need of now putting together a master plan based on land use. So that was in, I think, 1973. The 1973 plan was actually based on infrastructure. To actually build infrastructure to meet future demands. So that expired in the year 2000, and then that was the Nairobi Metropolitan Growth Strategy. So it was purely based on infrastructure growth. Now, that never happened. Actually, the plan that was executed was a plan of 1948 by the white settlers, segregate Africans. The one that followed was never implemented for 2 reasons. One, political issues. There was no political goodwill to implement the plan. Secondly, lack of funding, because the funding was to come from World Bank, who is a development partner, City Council of Nairobi, then another stakeholder. So that didn't happen, and of course, Government of Kenya. Then after that, the plan expired, of course, in 2000. Not having been implemented, as you can imagine. So the city was growing at that time. It had a plan, but which was not implemented. Then so now from 2000 until when my administration took over in 2009, we're actually running without a plan. So one of my 5 key areas of delivery was, of course, that delivering a master plan for Nairobi. That was done in conjunction with JICA. So we did approach the government of Japan through JICA, and they agreed to facilitate formulation of a master plan, which was very participatory. We got all the key stakeholders, including AAK, the professionals, and even the residents associations to participate. And that is why you see they keep on making reference to the new plan. So the new plan is supposed to run from 2014 to 2030. So we were tying in the new plan with Vision 2030. Unfortunately, when we left office, I left office May 2012. Whoever took over should have now developed what we call spatial plans, area-specific plans. And that's what they will talk about today in their press conference. That people in Mozaiga, people in Kilimani, and so on and so forth should have been brought together now to develop detailed plan. But the detailed plan for each specific area was going to derive from the master plan. So now again, we have a plan. Yes, we do. But is it being implemented? Has anybody looked at it? It has again been put in the shelves. And I can tell you, Jeff, when I approached the Japanese ambassador of Kenya, he only asked me one question. Philip, you seem so determined to reform the city, to reform city council. Are you sure that if we put in our money here, that these plans will be implemented? Jeff, I'm ashamed that after the Japanese used public funds to assist the city to deliver a master plan that has been ready from 2014, nobody's making reference to that master plan. And therefore, you hear people like my good friend Governor Sakaja, just talking out of nothing. He should be making reference to that new plan, because that is the only document that is recognized by the people of Nairobi, that is legally binding. So if you come up with any other plan, the professional bodies, the residential associations will go to court.
So let me ask you this: 10 years later, you said 2014, right?
2014.
10 years later,
Yes.
Is there no will? Is that what it is? There's just no will to go with this master plan? Or people keep reinventing the wheel here?
Not really. I think the new plan is a really good plan, if you ask me, for those of us who've been able to look at it. And what it does is that it proposes that we cascade the plan from just having it Nairobi. Nairobi is a very large city, and take it to area-specific plans, where we have neighborhoods coming up with their own plans, talking about what they want in terms of area-specific needs and requests of the citizenry. It also pushes for what we call participatory planning, where you actually have the people plan their own neighborhoods according to what it is they want. There are certain areas where they will say, we want a high-rise along this particular road, but in some areas we want schools only, we want low-rise, and so on and so forth. And then they're able to also plan for what you call prerequisite infrastructure to go along with the plans that they have. But as we speak right now, none of that has happened. I believe the county government at some point had actually called for what we call the local physical development plans for these 17 sub-centers of the city, but none of it has taken place as we speak today. I know, like, for instance, the Karingata Association, they're really trying to do their own plan, and they've even put in money to do it. They're willing to put money to do it so that they have, a citizen-centric master plan for their area. But that hasn't taken place. It really requires, like you're saying, goodwill from the political class. It requires also goodwill, from the who's who, so that we're actually able to see master plans that are coming from the citizens and they're owned by the citizens. And then it is from that plan from a neighborhood that then they can start talking about the heights that these people want to go to, and the densification that we want to see in the city. And so it does take some goodwill, especially from our governor, who is leading really one of the largest cities in Africa. He really must take lead and listen to the professionals, listen to the citizenry, to the residents association, and see how it is that we can make sure that we cascade this new plan into area-specific spatial plans.
Yeah. Speaking of the governor, Philip, we heard the other day the governor saying that the only way to go is up, because Nairobi's population is increasing exponentially. And up could be 20, 25, 30, 40-story high. What are your thoughts on that? Can Nairobi sustain that?
Jeff, nobody is disagreeing with the governor. Actually, his strategy of having a compact city is what has been advocated for in the new plan. But it is how he's going about it. The question that should be asked, and he should be asking himself, because I listened to his clip, he said that we shall build skyscrapers in